Little Brother by Cory Doctorow. That was so stupid. Little Brother by Cory Doctorow. Unfortunately, I don't have the book. I don't have a physical version of the book, but Cory Doctorow is another kind of author, but more on that later. This book tells a riveting story of a teenager that lives in San Francisco and whose life initially is that of a normal teenager. You know, girls and alcohol and a feeling of inadequacy that is masked as rebellion. Standard stuff. He's also very clever and has above average computational skills, which comes in handy later on in the story. The real conflict of the story begins when there is a terrible, albeit fictional, terror attack in San Francisco that rocks the life of all of the characters. Does that sound familiar? There is a tremendous increase in police presence, civilian surveillance, sharp increase in military spending, CCTVs everywhere, suspicion levels heightened, very scary people with unmarked paramilitary equipment that turned out to be CIA, FBI, and DHS. Does that sound familiar again? So in this book we follow Marcus, aka Mickey, in his journey escaping custody, being shunted by the authorities and persecuted by the system, and the ingenious ways that he finds to get out of it. Just the title, Little Brother, hints at its brilliance, and although the book was released in 2008, it's heavily influenced by the tragic event of 9/11 and the consequences that it brought upon the world, the war on terror and the warring in the Middle East. It is still so painfully relevant. Very rarely you find such a rich reading, and the thing that makes it rich is that it is a twofold kind of masterpiece. One, from the narrative point of view, as it is a very solid novel, showing some fantastic storytelling, and two, and I think this is the bit that really enthuses me, which is the ideas that it presents that are so poignant and relevant. It makes you give a second thought about the world that you live in. There are four ideas that, although it might not be the main themes of the book, they spoke to me and I would like to talk about. The first idea that I would talk about that is put forth in the book is government mass surveillance. And this was something that was once considered a very hot topic, with the whole thing of about I've forgotten his name, the CIA. That's very tragic. The NSA agent. Oh my God. Doesn't matter. It used to be quite a hot topic, but it has faded away with time. And I find it very fascinating and deliciously ironic how the vast majority of the population is more than willing to surrender their personal freedoms under the pretext of a fight against a tyranny that is threatening their liberty. I don't deny that there are pros, but you can see the irony in there. What is the cost? I think it's a very interesting discussion. Do drop some comments down below if you want to share your opinion. The second idea that I want to discuss is censorship and freedom of press and the nefarious consequences that come with their non-existent, or with the application of censorship. So as an exercise, if you go and check every single nation with a tyrannical, authoritative system of government, you'll see a pattern emerge, and that is the state of their press. So you need journalists, you need a robust press that keeps the government in check. Now the problem, and this is something that it is discussed in the book, is that no one really does that in the Western world. There is no apparent, blatant disruption of freedom of press. The problem is that what it is done, it is much more surreptitious and insidious, which is indoctrination. Changing the way that you teach your children so that they believe one thing or the other. And this, again, this is discussed in the book. Education is such a powerful tool, and you can do whatever you want with a population if you start drilling it incessantly, the mentality that you want them to have. And this is a good teaching that that I would like to put out there, which is that even when something is presented as a fact, you need to understand that it has been processed through the lens of someone with their own opinions and their own personal agenda. The third thing I want to talk about is the ownership in the digital era. It is only tangentially referred to in the book, but it is a hugely important consideration. I was originally reading the book I was reading the paperback in Spanish, but for some reason I never truly finished it. And last year when I wanted to go back to the story, I didn't have a physical copy, so I turned to the internet. Such was my surprise that Cory Doctorow had uploaded it free for everyone to download. And it was such an alien concept for me that I did some research, and I realized how the mentality of the author, of Cory Doctorow, is so different from your regular author. So in essence, what you can go and research his own words, because I would be paraphrasing. But in essence, what really fascinates me is the fact that in an age where reproducibility is so readily available, piracy laws and copyright are rendered a bit pointless. It is like sticking a pole in the middle of a river in the hopes that you'll stop the stream. If you make a good product, a book, let's say, that is free for those that don't have the means to buy it, then you will promote your product. And if it is a truly good, if you truly, and this is key, if you truly believe in your work, there will be people with the means that will buy it and will support you. And it was without exaggeration truly revolutionary, the way that I think about copyright and about the industry now. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is technological illiteracy. And in a world that is dominated by the internet and smart devices, phones, laptops, CCTVs, surveillance, masked, individualized advertisement, forms that we sign without reading because we're too caught up in the moment and we want to consume the content. I think now more than ever, the glaring technological illiteracy, myself included, is very detrimental to our way of living. Technology is not going away, it is growing exponentially, and it is rooted in our society, and it is part of our lives. There were parts in the books that, regardless of how didactically they were explained, because Cory Doctorow is amazingly talented, I just couldn't understand because I didn't have the foundational knowledge, and that is something that I want to remediate. And I think that this is something that everyone should take on board to inform themselves. I think it is fundamental for everyone to understand how this kind of things work, because I'm not going to put a tinfoil hat on. I don't think that they're weird X-rays from the microwave and the 5G poles will listen to what I'm saying and will use the Wi-Fi to monitor our lives. No. But what it is true is that there are a lot of tracking devices in Google, and Google Maps knows where you are, and you are being listened to by Facebook so that they can target the ads, and then you have a conversation with your friend about how you want to eat Nando's, and then you have Nando's ads. That is sometimes I have to admit is quite scary. So I think that we need to better understand technology. It is called Little Brother after all, and I think that's the absolute perfect title, and it needs to be read in conjunction with 1984 to understand the times that we live in. I will not repeat myself, and needless to say, I hugely recommend this book. I think that anyone, no matter the demographic, they will benefit from this book. Also, I do have the paperback sequel, and I cannot wait to sink my teeth in. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like, and I will see you in the next one. Cory Doctorow is a Little Brother by Cory Doctorow. I unfortunately doesn't have the book Mickey in the net. In the net? Am I 50 years old? Surrender by any line will never be the same. Lin-Manuel Miranda, I'll be waiting for your call.